Okay, it's starting off slow as usual. Anyway, welcome here to Can Angels Fly as usual. Anyway, welcome here to Can Angels Fly. Okay, that's my sound check. At this point in time, I'm about to set up my profile for this video because I can't do it before. And I don't know why, but okay. I'm about to try to do it. Anyway, today I'm here to rant. Why? Because I've been in the middle of my studies for September 2023. I have been working on the messages for some time. And in between me working on the messages, finding out what the messages are, that is to say, decoding the astrological messages that are encoded in the stars, I take breaks. So, how do I take breaks? Well, I'm usually here on YouTube somewhere. And recently, I've been running into YouTubers that are reporting on what's been happening over on TikTok. And what they've been reporting on are how TikTokers, I guess they're called TikTokers, are TikToking about their hardships, about living paycheck to paycheck and things like that. Why can't I? Oh, maybe I'm on the wrong page. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm on the wrong page. So let me set this up. So I'm just here to rant because it's irritating me to see that, and also to see the same thing reflected in the stars. To me, it seems like it has already been planned. Well, I done covered that before, that I believe that everything humanity has gone through in the history of humanity has been planned by some like off-world sources. They gotta be, they can't be, and I had videos about this too. Again, this is a rant. And I forgot I had put a little makeup on my eyeballs. But not my eyeballs, but my eyelids. Anywho, let me see if I can try to get this profile set up for this particular live. What was I saying? Because I'm trying to move forward and also do my profile for this live stream. Maybe it's going to let me, I don't know. But it bothers me that with humanity or society, I'm going to say society, bring it up to current, is going through everything from the argument about climate change, everything from the Amazon forest burning down, everything from Hawaii being on fire. All of these things are examples of what has shown up in the stars. And it also shows me that I have been well ahead of the game. And I say that because it's been a time that I was like, in order for me to forecast what is to occur, do I need to jump forward 4 or 5 years in time and read the stars, the alignment of the stars during the future in order to tell the future? Or is it significant? Well, does it suffice to read the stars that are, due to align in about 30 days? And so what has proven to be quite accurate is to just read the stars and, from this moment up into 30 days, because it talks about the past, it talks about the present, and it also talks about the future. So there's really no need for me to jump like a year or 5 years down the line to read the stars. I guess, okay, I'm in screenshots. Again, y'all, I'm trying to set up the profile for this live stream because I can't do it before I start. I found it. It didn't take that long. Okay. And it bothers me, all the messages that I've received, because I really can't say I've ever seen any positive messages my whole time here on YouTube. I couldn't find, let me say, I'm all over the place. This is an Aquarius rant. Just ride the wave with me, if you will. I was led to astrology because I needed answers for my own life. And my question was, how can I live a better life, my best life, while I'm here in this realm? And So I was searching in astrology for that answer. I never came up with that answer. I'm gonna just say it like that to keep it simple. I never came up with the answer. But since that time, I the the focus was turned off of me onto humanity or society, you know. And let me see what is going on here. I'll add that. And I'll add this. Still setting up the profile. And when as my focus turned to society and humanity overall, I was like, okay, that's fine. I'm one of billions of people. If astrology can tell me how we can live our best life, I can slide in that way. But I never ever received any really good messages for the collective either. How can I say this? Because over the years, there have been a few messages that I received that made me feel absolutely like, oh, okay, this is the answer. This is how everybody gets to be happy, yada yada yada. But they were the messages, the subject matters covered in those type of messages were very short lived, just in a moment. It wasn't. I don't even know how to say it because it's kind of complex. What I'm talking about astrology. Like I received a message that back in the day that said that the stars suggest that the time was right to live your best life, to express your fabulous self-expression. I'm like, okay, everybody got the right to be themselves. But what it was really talking about is you might as well be honest with yourself about who you are, what you want, and what you're willing to do for it. Period. That's what it was about. Another message I got that made me kind of happy was about, ain't been many of them, y'all. It was about coming together. It was called Stand. That's been kind of recent. And it was talking about Stand. And it was talking about the different people that work in the various industries coming together to stand for a cause, their shared cause, like the various strikes that's going on in the film industry and different things like that. Okay, that makes me, led me to feel like, oh, feel good, like, oh, we can come together. But it's this other side that I'm trying to convey right now is that, okay, the stars say come together. This is a time to stand for together on a cause. But the truth is we have so many indiscretions separating us that it makes it difficult for us to stand. That's the reality. You know, what's today's date? Come on. I'm gonna just save it. I don't care what YouTube does with this live. I really don't. Irritated by it anyway. So I guess that's enough. I put a little thumbnail up. And anywho, why am I really here today? I know I've been all over the place. I hadn't planned to do this pre-discussion about September 2023's astrology, but the time is not. Why? Because I feel like it. So I want to rant. The other day when I was taking my break in between my, in between studying astrology, I was here on YouTube and I ran into another YouTube content creator that was actually sharing the post from TikTok. And the various posts were from people, TikTokers, that were talking about how they were really like being crushed under the weight of life. That's to say, they were having a hard time paying their bills. They were living paycheck to paycheck. Some of these people were testifying how they make $30 an hour and they were barely making it. Others testified that they were making like $30 an hour, plus they had a significant other making as much as they do, and how again they are not making it. People were talking about how they're having to extreme coupon, go to food banks, and people complaining about the utility companies. People complaining about the rental costs, the cost for housing. It was just all types of, you know, complaints and concerns about maintaining one's quality of life. Let me see. I have the hardest time just talking. For me, these kind of subject matters are not new. I think I basically had these type of challenges my whole life. It saddens me to see that these challenges have spread like worldwide. I've heard that like rent is very very high. Sometimes up to several $1,000s, from like $1,000 to $3,000 per month to rent a unit or a house or whatever. And to move in, the renters want 2.5 times the rent. Like we call it here where I am, you pay your first month rent, the last month rent, and plus a half of the rent or something like that. Plus you got to pay extra if you got dogs and different things like that. Plus you're responsible for all of your utilities like gas and water, cell phone. You got your auto insurance, health insurance, dental insurance. I mean, it goes on and on. You got to have clothes. Like you got to buy new shoes. Like I'm on my feet a lot, so I need new shoes often. And it's just all these expenses that we have, especially here in the United States, that has gotten more difficult to, address, because the price of everything is going up. That's the whole thing. The price of everything is going up. Food is going up, and it's insane. And I kind of wonder, after the pandemic, did the prices shoot up? Not just because of all the money they issued out to people, the stimuluses and stuff I'm talking about. Did the price of food go up because there aren't as many companies, producing the way they were? That's to say, a lot of businesses went out of business. So it's not as much being produced. So what is on the shelves and what is being produced, the price has increased. Then it was this time period where the trending topic was about how farmers had received correspondence from the agricultural department telling them to destroy their crops. Let me stop. I have been hearing so much, and I'm just kind of my mind is blown, because again, I've been studying astrology, and astrology for September 2023 is about hardship, financial difficulties, and mental illness as a result of the stress of the financial, hardships and things like that, and inability to address the demands of life and to provide the necessities of life for you and those up under your care. And I don't know what to say. Again, this is just a rant, because I'm just in disbelief that we can't do any better. I guess I would be a person that has a kind of an extremist mindset. I'm all over the place. I know it, y'all. I'm just venting like these people are doing on TikTok, because it's unbelievable. Unbelievable what? That the astrology is pointing out financial hardship, difficulties, mental illness, and all kinds of things like that come September, and people are already, that's already their trending subject matter, and it's growing with intensity. And I say it's growing with intensity because right before that Alabama riverboat brawl, around that same time is when these TikTokers start TikToking about their hardship. But then the Alabama boat brawl occurred, and it seemed like it refocused everybody's attention on that event. Now that is dying down, what am I talking about? The Alabama riverboat brawl. Now that enthusiasm around that is dying down, now what's emerging is these videos about hardship. They're just all over the place. I forgot what I was gonna say. Did I do what I was supposed to do? See, I can't even finish decoding the stars. I just been having trouble. This is my current stack of papers. I got papers everywhere trying to decode September's. And I just couldn't believe the messages I was getting. It's scary to me. One of the scariest times for me is in the winter, when the utility bills all go up through the roof. All through the roof. I even looked at my water bill like last month, and I saw a component of water usage that is 600 and, like, I'm gonna take a guess, $632 per unit. I was like, I never saw that before. I was like, $632 per unit. I'm talking about $632 per unit. What saves an individual that is using the water is that we don't use one whole unit. We use a fraction of it. So it might only run a consumer like $50. But that's scary to say that one unit or something. I'm going to pull the bill out one day. Hopefully soon. I got to find what I did with it, because when I saw it, I just shoved it. I was like, what is that? I never saw that. I'm seeing the strangest things. The absolute strangest things. And it's scary that I bring up that water bill of mine, because that would scare me when I was like, what? Well, since when has $600+ ever had anything to do with a water bill? Like, I just shoved it up there. And I already know, like, when it comes to utility company, as far as heating and lights, that it's insane. It's absolutely insane. It does scare me. The winter months truly scares me so much. Now I want to talk about August astrology a little bit. Hopefully I don't forget what I was going to talk about. The August astrology pointed to social, racial dynamics and the disproportionate distribution of life-sustaining resources due to, like systematic racism and stuff. I'm going to try to say that a different way. There is a difference in the amount people are paid, oftentimes just basically due to their, their race or their sex and things like that. And so that's what August was about. I guess the undertone of it. And now moving into September is going into again, financial disparities, and it's different for different people. I don't know. How can I say this? August was also referring to historical, again, the historical distribution of the natural resources. The disproportionate distribution. And bringing it up to par. How can I just say it without... I use these general terminologies, so I think I forget how to talk. Just talk. In times past, historically, white Americans were able to earn more than people of color. And nobody cared. Nobody moved to do anything about it. So that disease spread, that bias spread. And now it is consuming everybody, no matter what color you are. If you are not in the right economic bracket, then you suffer. You live in fear from moment to moment, not knowing if you're going to be able to pay your bills or buy food or clothes, shoes, different things like that. When I was watching those TikTok videos of people reporting their hardship and them being so tired, being overworked, etc., I forgot what I was going to say. That's why I need notes. I just got a lot of thoughts, I guess, floating around in my head because I done forgot again. I really done forgot. Oh, well, I guess I jumped to this subject too. I recently, doing one of those TikTok videos, someone reported about the U.S. voting that food is not a human right. And so I started Googling that. New information, which is the U.S. voted that food is not a human right. And what I found was I was trying to find out when did that happen. And it seems like the last time it happened might have been in 2022. I'm wondering, do they, when I say they, I'm talking about the UN or whoever, come together annually to vote on this same topic? Because I saw in my Google search other times that the U.S. has voted that food is not a human right. And I'm just like blown away by that, as well as so many other things. Because we cannot survive here. When I say we, I'm talking about humans. Cannot survive in this realm without substance, without food. If we don't have it, we would go hungry to the point we begin to starve, and then we would go through all of the side effects of starvation until we became malnutritioned, and then we would die. I did a report on this before, a whole video on this, very orderly, had a lot of notes. And that's one of the videos that YouTube got done away with. That was a long time ago. That had to be about 6 years ago or so. Why did I do it then? It's because the stars were talking about the need, humans' need for food, for substance. And so when I saw the stars talking about it back then, I took things for granted. And I was like, I'm not going to take anything for granted anymore. And that's when I really started researching every topic that I've discussed on this channel. And I came to learn, I think, it's been a long time, that the human body can only survive without food for about 21 days or something like that. And at the same time, I learned that the human body can only survive without water for 10 days or some type of beverage. Water preferably for like 10 no longer than 10 days or something like that. But I talk about that because I covered that, and YouTube got rid of that video. The laptop that I did it on, of course, died, so I can't retrieve it. Wonderful video. I was doing really good work then. I also did a video about humans' intellect. Why did I do it? Because the stars talked about it. And so I didn't want to take anything for granted, thinking that I knew what the stars were talking about. So I did my research. And I made an excellent video. YouTube also got rid of that. I know that there are about a dozen videos that I've done in detail. I was very professional in them. And I did a lot of research in them. And I organized all the information, and YouTube got rid of them. And of course, they're on the laptop that I can't access it anymore because the laptop died on me. New laptops. But I think, now looking back, I was like, wow, I was so far ahead of the game when I was doing my earlier videos, following the instructions of the stars, getting, very relevant information. I didn't know how it fit during that time. And I'm sure people that did watch those videos or witnessed my work at that time had no idea that my work was so relevant. I even had a couple of people text me and say, Nancy, you're all over the place. You never stick to one subject matter. And like I told them, I'm just following the instructions of the steps and the stars. But it makes sense now why YouTube got rid of those videos. I know at least a dozen of them. It was because it was informing us, humanity, our weak spots and what we need to strengthen and what we need to safeguard because the powers are attacking them. I didn't know that terminology then. I didn't know that a third party was going, or the powers. When I say third party, I'm talking about the powers or extraterrestrial, whatever they are. Those that can manipulate us in our environment for the worst were going to pop up some, years later in astrology. I didn't know all that. And so here we are today with all that has occurred to us, and we don't even know it. So we don't even know it. Even though a person like me tried to report it, other people have tried to report it. It's been blocked. It wouldn't. The system wouldn't allow it to go mainstream so that we could be informed and prepare. We kind of was just fiddling around in the dark. Now here we are, approaching September, at a time that even the stars are saying that people are going to be going through some really hard times. I'm talking about times so hard that they doubt themselves. They don't have faith in themselves. They feel alone. They feel like they're doing something wrong. Just being crushed under the weight of the responsibility of life to try to live, to the point that people are going to start having psychological breakdowns, mental breakdowns, be burdened with depression. And Lord, it could go even to the extreme. I don't even want to say the S word, and I'm kind of overwhelmed with knowing that this is scheduled to occur for so many when it was foretold in the stars years and years ago. During the time period that I've been actively here on YouTube reporting everything I'm seeing in the stars. And we could do no better. I'm like, was I and people like myself the safety net to try to save humanity from this time period, to try to prepare humanity for this time period that the stars suggest is going to be equal to or greater than the Great Depression of the 1920s, because we weren't a good safety net. We couldn't stop this. We couldn't awaken the people to the fact that someone scheduled our demise. That's deep. That's deep. And as I try to interpret the stars, continue to try to interpret the stars, always trying to pull out positive information, I keep failing to do so. That bothers me. And it bothers me because that suggests that there's a higher being or entity or intelligence that has our doesn't have our best interests. Actually, it is against us, and I say us, I'm talking about humanity, and wants to destroy us, wants to destroy humanity. I've made a video about it where I talked about, hey, like, something is not adding up here. And in that video, I just remember talking about how the waters are being contaminated or have been contaminated. across the board. Let's say ocean, pond, sea, don't matter, lake, all contaminated. All the drinking water contaminated. The food supply contaminated and destroyed. That doesn't make any rational sense at all, no matter how you twist it or turn it. Because as a human, one of the requisites for our existence is to pacify our worldly needs, which is to needs such as or urges, which are like to have to quench thirst. So you have to drink. You have to. There's no other option. You have to. If you don't, you will dehydrate until you die. You have to eat. You have to take in some substance. Otherwise, you will starve into malnutrition and you're going to die. So for somebody to destroy the food supply or do anything to, negatively affect it, have to be against humanity. There's no other excuse. Or the environment just being so unhealthy for any living creature shows that there is an entity that exists that does not like humanity, and we letting it go down. Earlier I was going to say, I guess I got a kind of an extremist nature, and my extremist nature, I've been aware of my whole life. I didn't know the extent of it until just yesterday or today, because I heard in another video about Oprah Winfrey purchasing like 870 acres, I guess over in Hawaiian Islands, one of them Hawaiian Islands or something like that, for $6.6 million or something. Now this is just, hearsay. I don't know it. I didn't research it. I just heard it in a video. And I was like, 870 acres. I think in Hawaiian Islands for, if I saw that right, $6.6 million. That's all. So let's think about it. 870 acres of land. Do you know how many resources exist on those acres? Everything from the shrubs, bushes, trees, the wildlife, the dirt, all of that is our treasures. There are minerals of different types, but she only paid $6.6 million. And I ain't never been a big Oprah Winfrey fan, groupie. I ain't never been that. I thought she was okay and cool, but in the last few years, I really don't think highly of her. And this is my extremist mindset. Not only has Oprah Winfrey, bought a lot of land. Also, who was that? Bill Gates or something had bought a whole lot of land or something. I think it was him. And my question is, what does any one human need with all of that land? Why are they even allowed to buy that much land? Something is wrong. And I feel like this, if we, the people, with a primary focus of, surrounding the United States, within the United States, if we cannot vote them out, here's my extremist thing, we should take them out. I really think that. Anybody that want to stake claim to such a mass amount of land, property, parts of this globe. I mean, come on. Humanity, society, we are being too humble. I think we're being way too humble because we're dealing with some extraterrestrial entities. Whether we're talking about Oprah Winfrey, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, what's his name is, uh, what's the other one's name? Elon Musk. It's too strange. It's way too strange to even like comprehend. You know, I got a problem putting things in words, but it's time to stop that. Stop all of that, because you cannot have, even though we do have, we should not allow it to be. People buying 870 acres of fertile land. When I say fertile, I'm talking about it being a treasure. All of the natural resources on it, trees, bushes, bugs, whatever. Because y'all know that's where we get everything that we use in this world. We get it from nature. Whether it's a medicine, whether it's makeup, whether it's a synthetic hair, I don't care whether it's eyeglasses, whether it's glass, I don't care what it is. It all comes from nature. It came off, well, some other creation may come off of those 870 acres. You know, I don't know what's on that 870 acres. But let me guess, since it's supposed to be Hawaii or an island, is that sand is there. And sand makes what? Glass. You know what I'm saying? So these people are they are monopolizing the globe. They need to be stopped. And I mean by any means necessary. Another complaint that I have, and it's so real to me, is about the cost of getting and maintaining shelter, a roof over your head, house, apartment, whatever. The cost of living as far as housing is crazy. It is insane, and I don't understand how homeowners that rent their home raise the rent up so high that people can't afford it. Let me try to say this in a way that I didn't kind of experience this. My local grocery store is a really nice grocery store, but the prices are high as HE double hockey sticks high. So I can go in when they first get like their meat delivery, and the butcher just didn't cut it up, and the meat is premium, it's beautiful, it just looks really good, healthy. Maybe a few days later, a week or so later, or whatever, I go back, and that same pack of meat that was I viewed earlier that week, that was like say $20, may have gone down to $15, but it's right on the verge of rotting. Nobody's going to buy meat that the guy has begun to rot, so it can sit there. Then the next thing they do right before it rots is they give it, what is it called, today's sale or sale in a minute. They bottom out the price, the $6 or something like that. I can't, today's sale or whatever it's called. My question is, why don't these store owners, these people that basically hold the power, they hold the food, they hold the housing, why don't they just make it an average rate, bump the government where people can afford it? But these people that hold the power because they hold the housing or the food, they rather have these really high prices, let the stuff sit empty, the houses sit empty, let the food rot, rather than averaging out the price where people can afford it. Now, I'm just all over the place, y'all know. September 2023 astrology talks about mental illness, psychological problems. It's not just the people suffering because they're having a hard time managing life, the demands of life. It is also people that own, property, and the food and things like that, the resources. That's over distributing them. They are mentally ill too. In the astrological message for September, the where mental illness is shown, extreme ambition is also shown. And so I guess when it comes to people that own these resources and are responsible for distributing the various resources that we need to facilitate our lives, their mental illness falls under extreme ambition. But what I'm trying to say is they too are sick in the mind and in their soul, that they can't see that they throwing the food away in the end, meaning they not getting nothing for it unless there's a predetermined tactic between them and the government, the agriculture department, that says keep the prices up so high that people won't buy it. When it's just on the verge of rotting, you can drop the price. But if nobody buys it before it's rotten, then if you return it to us, rotten and all, we'll give you the full price for it. That's the only way that this makes sense. Either way, such people are mentally ill and spiritually ill, because they're willing to rot the food so the people won't have anything to eat. They can't afford it. They can't afford it. Then they're willing to let it rot, and then maybe, and this is just a hypothetical, get paid in full from the government, not caring about the other effects that it's having, which is people can't afford the food, which means people not eating. We live in a real crazy world. Real crazy world. I think about how I got a damn gnat. They driving me nuts. We're told to eat healthy, but you can't afford the food. Healthier foods have always been more expensive. And it drives me up the wall when I hear people say, "Oh, it's more expensive than a." You're a lie. People are liars. This world is, we are about to go extinct. I do believe that. And the reason I know I'm all over the place, y'all. This is just a rant. I'm just trying to work through my thoughts and my feelings, because this is a mess. People lie. I especially since I've been here on social media, YouTube, whatever this thing is, Facebook, everything. Everybody are liars. Nobody deals with the truth. It's like people can't handle the truth. Really. They holding on. Everybody's been holding on to their sanity through a lie, rather than trusting that what the truth will set you free. It does. It might be a hard pill to swallow, but the truth will set you free. It will liberate you. But instead, every person that I've seen, most people that I've seen, they just perpetuate a lie. I mean, it is self-sabotaging. They don't care. To it's about to destroy them or somebody else. They don't care. They just keep lying. And I am just too outdone about everything. I'm so outdone about the U.S. government voting that food is not a human right. That's some deep stuff. But it also makes everything make sense about what's been happening to our food industry. You know, yeah, everything from the command to destroy food sources, whether crops or cattle. Everything from the various food industries having, fires and buildings blowing up, trains derailing. All these things are happening. Of food being genetically modified, and just everything you can think of that we done heard about our food. It makes sense because in the U.S. it's not a human right, so it doesn't matter. Come on, y'all. I wasn't raised, per se. You got to follow me, to believe in extraterrestrials or and something like that. But it has to be. It has to be. I don't know what the answer is, except for the worldly people that we do know of. I think we should get rid of them by any means necessary. I named a couple in this video. And if they got any, what do you call it, beneficiaries, if they want a state claim, they go to. Because we can't sit here and continue to sit here and do nothing. We can't. I mean, maybe I would have done better just starting this video off talking about extraterrestrial involvement in the lives of humans. I think I would have did better in this video. And I say that because they've also socially engineered us. I did a video about social engineering long time ago. And why did I do it? Because the stars talked about how humanity had been socially engineered since the beginning of our existence. And it talked about how we were socially engineered to be self-sabotaging, to be, to have hatred toward each other. That's some deep stuff. And it was all to cover, to create a cover or a smog for this extraterrestrial species, this superior, intellectually superior species that wants to destroy us. And no matter what nobody says, humanity can't wake up. And it's the religion thing. We hear all these things, and maybe we just can't believe the things that we're hearing, because there's so much information going on everywhere all the time, and so we can't believe it. And obviously, just like back in the day when it starts talking about humans are intellectually capped, in arrested development, that we can't even comprehend for our own selves without somebody telling us what's going on. An example, what I mean, is in a black community, that there are black people that cannot comprehend that they have been manipulated, socially engineered to be self-destructive, to be violent, to be brutes, to be uneducated, to walk out on home, different stereotypes for the black community, been socially engineered. Nobody can see that for themselves. I'm so freaking confused how that is absolutely possible. I can't fathom it. Or in the white community, how racism is a dominant belief for a lot of them. And they cannot, you can't even make sense of not liking somebody because their complexion is different or their culture is different. That is something wrong with humanity. Overall, we are dim-witted. We are, and I'm talking about humanity, every race, every single race. I don't care what you are, Negroid, Asiatic, what's the other one? Was it Anglo-Saxon, whatever the classifications are. I don't care what it is. And it's always that fourth one I can't remember. Are absolutely, disgustingly dim-witted. Nobody believes. I could tell that people do not believe SHIT snake. We do not believe that we are on the path to self-annihilation. We don't believe that there's extraterrestrial involvement. We don't believe in anything. We don't believe in social engineering and the power of it. We don't believe in mass hypnosis. This is too deep for me. And then when I heard again that the U.S. voted that food is not a human right. Oh wow, that's some deep stuff. But there was a time, I remember, that people voted that blacks, African Americans, Africans didn't have human rights. They weren't even considered humans. They were considered what was it, 1/5 of a human. People let that slide back then. But I mean, I can make an excuse for back then, back in the day, because people were not educated on the level that they are now. A lot of people of all races are educated and should be able to at least rationalize what's going on here. But for the most part, I don't see that's going on. I just kind of see humanity just kind of like a bunch of little confused bugs going in all different directions. Not even as smart as the ant being able to come together and work together. Just confused, just roaming aimlessly with no devotion, no conviction, no anything, like just void of humanity. These species, or whoever this extraterrestrial species is, or these more advanced beings are, manipulated, engineered humanity out of their humanity. That's some deep stuff. I know I've been all over the place, y'all. The astrology for September is kind of complex to me. I ain't know where to start. I really don't. Plus, I don't think it's helping anybody. I don't know if we can be helped anytime we don't see what needs to be done and we're not willing to do it. We like, when I say we, I'm talking about humanity. It's like the frog that we hear about putting a lukewarm pot of water and how the temperature is slowly increased and how the frog is cooked to death with no awareness that it's in jeopardy. You know, we're the exact same way. That is, I don't believe I exist in a world like this where we cannot perceive that there is a threat to us, to humanity, that nobody takes it serious at all across the board. How people are still so materialistic. I'm not talking about, when I say materialistic, I mean just that. I'm not talking about when it comes to food, the requirements, the necessities. Like, I'm talking about people. There are some people that still exist that are so wrapped around and captured with the spirit of materialism. That's all that matters to them. I don't even know how to talk about these things. Again, astrology is complicated because it also goes back, going back to what I was saying way earlier in this video, rambling about, is it also has to do with the social stratification system or classism. It has to do with race, sex, what's it called? Race, sex, sexual orientation, and the differences, and therefore the disparities that occur between the variations that exist in society. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I really want to do my astrology work, but as you can see, I am like, I can't make sense of it. I would like to just expand, or what is it? Transcend. I would love to transcend into the highest consciousness possible while still in the physical. I would. I would like to be had the ability to speak about these subject matters eloquently, and to have the power of, I guess, I would say a silver tongue, so people will listen. But I need to be able to say it right, to talk about it right. This is some deep stuff, y'all. I know y'all like, why is she on here keep saying the same thing over and over again? Because I'm trying to figure out how to talk about this stuff. Especially when it comes to my September 2023 astrology messages. How do I talk about it? Because again, it has different dimensions to it. One of the dimensions was revealed to us during this month of August. Referred to the Riverboat Brawl thing. But it's about, again, social diversity. The ills of social diversity. The I don't even know how to say it. Social diversity. Racism. You know, if I talk about racism, I'm having such a hard time. One of the issues I think that is occurring during this time period for humanity is, like, if I deliver a message, astrological message, that has to do with the topic of racism, bigotry, and things like that. Number one, that's a hard pill to swallow. But during that same time period, everything that's trending on social media is about the same topic. So the viewers, the audience, may not really digest the message, the severity of the message, because it's trending, it's popular, it's what's happening during the time period. So people just kind of write it off as what, a trend. But the reality is something is going on. And I say that because, again, my filter I come through is astrology. But what filter are like those TikTokers coming through? How do they know that the time is right now to talk about hardship? Living paycheck to paycheck. How do they know? How is it that when you sign in to any social media platform or whatever these things are called, that the suggested videos, the videos that are suggested to you have to do with the same thing, you know? So it almost seems like at the same time we are being informed, we're also being desensitized to the information. It's real. And I just don't know how to get people to see that it's real. I don't. I just made a short. I made about 3 or 4 shorts today because I'm just going through it. But the last short I made was talking about how we were manipulated to lose our intimate social connections like family and community. And it's been going on for so long. I remember hearing about how there was a direct attack on the black family, breaking the black family up years and years ago, even before I was born. And now, fast forwarded at this time, you know, families are broken up everywhere. All kinds, no matter what race. Maybe the methods to break them up have been different as far as viewpoints on, you know, hot topics like vax or career or a way of living, the way you live your life or your sexuality. Whatever the method that has been used or it has been used to break families up of different races, don't matter. They broke up. They're divided. Societies are divided. Families are divided. So why am I bringing it up? Because this time that we're living in, that is foretold that we're about to have a depression. We ain't in the depression yet, y'all. The depressed state. We ain't there. We're just entering into it. Anywho, back in the day, the saving grace was to have family help you make it through. Living in the same house, working together. They make this. The powers destroyed that. There is no unity in most families. I don't care again what race you are, black, white, or the Caucasian, Asiatic, whatever it's called. Broken. Whether somebody's on drugs, and we now feel like we can't trust them because we probably can't because they made them sick. I mean, everything again. The whole thing about the vaccines, people got it and others didn't. Religious differences, you name it. Just the different methods that have been used by the powers to separate families. Remember, we are culturally different. And so the powers use different methods to break down a family unit. It's different. We got different cultures, different ways of doing things, etc., different beliefs. And so they had to use different methods to break us down. And I keep talking about that and reiterating that because it was all that time. It was for a time such as this. A time that they knew they were going to starve us out. And long as we don't have each other's back, long as we can't cohabitate with each other because we can't stand each other, whether it's within a family, within a community, or within the nation, they got us by the balls. We're going to starve and die because we can't see. We cannot see that we have been manipulated. We have been socially engineered to hate each other. Within what? The family, within the community, within society, and within the world at large. And so now the powers can do what? Starve us out. Make us homeless, make us susceptible to the elements outside. All because the cost of living is way too damn high. Ain't that something? Tell us it ain't enough food while destroying the food, poisoning the food, and we can't see that. That's crazy. Something else I don't understand, y'all. And I'm gonna just get up off here because I was just here to rant. I'll probably come back and rant. Probably be a part 2. Just to rant because I'm in disbelief. This is unfreaking believable that nobody takes this seriously. I mean, it seems like for every city, every sector, every neighborhood, people will be like, bump that, let's have a community meeting. But the first thing, I guess everybody got to get to the place where the TikTokers are, where they can openly confess that they are broke, hungry, cold. People got to get to the place where they're vulnerable. And it's so hard for us to be vulnerable, I guess. Especially in front of people we don't like. People we done bad-mouthed and everything else. And to the end, I guess we can't. I don't forget what I was saying. Oh, the one last thing. When I was watching the TikTok videos, I watched a few people give examples of houses and how much they cost, like back in the 1950s. And then they would look and see how much that exact same house cost within our current market. Example, hypothetical. A house in 1950 might cost $3,900. That same house today would cost, I think they were saying, what they're saying, like, I'm going to say $50,000. I can't remember what it was. I don't understand this. How can I do this? I don't understand this. Literally, if it's the same exact house, I'm not talking about a new house that's comparable to, but it's the exact same house. Like, I'm going to use the house I live in. The house I live in was built in I think it was 20-something, 1929 or something like that. I can't really remember. Or 1932. Something like that. Old house. So we're gonna say back then the house cost, I don't know, $2,000. $2,000 brand new. This house has been sitting here for over 100 years. And now I live here. How is the house that was built 100 years ago, we not talking about no historical landmark or nothing, be worth $50,000 today? It was built, they built it from the ground up, $3,000-$4,000 100 years ago. Now the same house, if buy it from the bank, $50,000. That don't make no sense. I'm just pointing out the foolishness we've allowed to go on for decades. That is insane. This house raggedy. They probably got lead paint in the walls. The parts of the house that are wood is what do they call it? Degrading. They got aluminum siding now, probably to hide the atrocity that's probably under it. I mean, this is just the foolishness we've been dealing with the whole time. All the crazy laws. I'm just in disbelief. The crazy laws. When I'm talking about laws, I'm talking about where it was legal to own people. It was legal to kill certain people based on their race, or deny them of housing or food, and we let that go on. Humanity has let that go on, and now it has like spread like the thing, like the creature, the thing, the dog. I can't believe this, y'all. I cannot believe this, and I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do better. I don't know how to organize. I don't know how to organize it because it's too much. September astrology is too much. It's too much. I am afraid for myself, and I am afraid for everybody, you know? And then the arrogance of those that did and have achieved. Oh, the whole game that has been ran on this planet is so sophisticated, and it has so many layers. I thought that I was, over time revealing some details about it, but guess our extinction versus our torture, and then extinction is inevitable. That's some deep stuff. It makes me wonder why I'm here. What's they call it? Existential crisis. I'm going through an existential crisis like never before in my life. I really am. An existential crisis. Because I really can't understand. I cannot understand for the life of me how the majority of humanity cannot see what has taken place and what is taking place and the plan at large, as well as humanity is not actually moving to stop it. I'm not being funny. I made a video and I'm about to watch it. It was called Horrific Visions, I think, for the Future. That's when I ate the peyote pie, the sweet potato pie, infused with cannabis. And I just remember after eating that pie, the overwhelming sensation of dread. I was horrified in the pit of my stomach. Have you ever felt horror in the pit of your stomach? I done felt it like in my mind and with my heart beating fast. Oh, no, this was horror in the pit of my stomach from just eating a piece of pie. I wasn't even on this astrology trip or nothing. I was just out having a girls' night out, enjoying myself. And when I ate that pie, the results was a horror within the pit of my stomach, so bitter. So bitter. I never had that experience before. It was absolutely horrible. And the things that I saw. And the scenarios that played out in my mind, I kept trying to stop it, and it kept showing me more and more. And I just saw all this darkness and smoke and clouds, which is so crazy. The other day, I was watching another YouTube creator. I talk about him all the time, named Wayne Steiger. And I guess he was showing some images. I didn't watch it in full, but he was showing some images or pictures generated by AI, artificial intelligence, that had to do with, I guess, the subject matter of the apocalypse or apocalyptic times. And every picture that he showed this grayish haze of smoke and desolence. And when I saw the pictures, I was like, oh, Jesus, spickety Christ. Because that's what I saw when I was, when I ate that pie. I seen all this smoke and stuff. And it's kind of scary to me because I'm like, is that the inevitable? AI is picking up on it. Me under a high state, intoxicated state, picked up on it. And I can see the images, like I seen his pictures he showed here on YouTube. But don't nobody, how can you not? I guess you can, it's just going back to everybody lying to themselves. That's what it is. Everybody lying to themselves. They okay with lying to themselves until the shit hit the fan and they can't do nothing about it. That's got to be the answer. I think I found the answer, y'all, so I think I'm done. And the answer is everybody lied to themselves until the shit hit the fan and they can't do nothing about it but suffer the consequences.